back in December. Well, Juve, of course, are still on a high after their UEFA Cup triumph in midweek and victory in the San Siro over Milan just a few days earlier. No David Platt, as he, of course, is on England duty. The other foreigners might have kept him out anyway. Trapattoni includes all three, the German pair, Andy Möller and Jurgen Kohler, and the Brazilian defender, Júlio César. Well, Fiorentina, disappointingly, have failed to live up to that early flourish when they threatened a serious tilt at the title. They still boast some outstanding talent. Brian Laudrup from Denmark and another German, Stefan Effenberg, they're both playing. So are the Italian stars, Baiano and Mauro. A major blow, though, is the absence through suspension of the Argentinian striker, Batistuta. He's Fiorentina's leading goal scorer so far this season. It's a soaking wet afternoon in Turin. That certainly kept the crowd down in the highly impressive Stadio delle Alpi. So much frustration for the Juve fans for most of the season. But the successes of the past week will have helped to alleviate the pain, and they'll be hoping for at least third place now in Serie A, and of course a European title if they can beat Borussia Dortmund in the final of the UEFA Cup. Well, alongside me in the commentary positions today is former AC Milan star Ray Wilkins. Ray, how do you see this one shaping up?
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. I think this is going to be a good one. We've got ideal football conditions. It's a very skiddy surface, and the pitch looks an absolute bowling green. Juventus have had a fantastic week in beating Milan and then going away and winning Paris. I'm quite sure they'll be coming into this game with the utmost confidence, and there's their captain Baggio, who's having a fantastic time at the moment. But I think the important thing from Juventus is the fact that they've got César back, Júlio César. He's been absolutely magnificent, or he was at the start of the season. Then he was out for 5 months with a badly broken leg. But he's back now, and I think he shores up a few holes in their defence, and he gives them the confidence to spring from a very sound platform.
I think he felt himself to start with. He was a little shaky on his return to the side, but certainly the last few matches, the Brazilian has been quite outstanding. And looking through the Juve side, Ray, it's a pretty attacking formation. There was a doubt about Andy Möller, feeling that Trapattoni might have left him out, or maybe Vialli. He's played them both. It's a positive lineup.
It is a positive lineup, and I think he'll want the points. They've done very well on the back end of the season. I'm sure Trapattoni will want them to carry that through to the UEFA Cup final. It's a shame that Batistuta isn't playing. He may have caused them a few problems, but I think we'll see Fiorentina play with Baiano up front on his own, with a five-man midfield, and Laudrup being the main guy joining him from midfield.
So we're almost ready then for the kick-off. All very friendly at the start anyway, and the referee today, Roberto Boggi from Salerno near Naples. Fiorentina in the all-violet strip to kick off, attacking the goal to our right. Juventus, of course, in their familiar black and white stripes. Effenberg, who is bound to be a major influence on the game, as he was certainly in the first meeting between the two sides back in December. He had an inspired afternoon, Effenberg, and Juventus, although missing some of their regulars, were really outplayed that afternoon. Fiorentina winning by 2-0. This is Laudrup. Numbers down in terms of the attendance because of the rain, but certainly there's a sizzling atmosphere around the stadium. Baggio.
And I think straight away, Peter, we can see that Iachini's gone on to Baggio to pick him up man for man. Baggio's in sparkling form, and Iachini's a little terrier of a player. And they'll need to keep him very quiet this afternoon.
I think we'll do well to pick anybody up at the moment with this smoke around the stadium. Just a reminder, as there's an injury there. Just a reminder that Newcastle have beaten Sunderland today in the big First Division game. They won by 1-0, so Newcastle back on top of the First Division back in England. Goal from Scott Sellers after 10 minutes. In fact, it's Iachini who's injured, not Effenberg. I think they switched the numbers around there. Iachini, we were told, wearing 7. In fact, he's got 8 on. Stefan Effenberg has 7. Iachini, the man who has the task of man-to-man marking. The danger man in the Juventus side, Roberto Baggio. Conte. This is Carobbi, the club captain of Fiorentina. Baiano. Good interception by Conte. And you can see there how greasy the surface is. Threaded through by Di Mauro. And that's an excellent pass and almost linking up with Baiano.
Yes, that was an excellent pass, but it's a really frantic old start. I think there's some old scores to be settled out here this afternoon, and the game has really kicked off in sparkling fashion. Now here's the man, César, who gives him that composure at the back. A very tall, elegant-looking man, and he really does add that bit of steel to the Juventus side.
Conte. Cross whipped over that by Vialli.
It's a fabulous cross as well, and it's a shame that he didn't. I couldn't see who was going across the front of the near post, but he didn't get there quick enough. We've seen on many occasions where players haven't been making that near post area, and that cross from Vialli was first class, and I think he should really have been expecting for someone to get across that near post.
Here's Baggio with the corner. It was Casiraghi who almost made the impact with his run-in a moment or so ago. It's Conte now. Just getting in before Laudrup. Júlio César to Marocchi. He's playing in the left-back role for Juventus today. Now Vialli, good shots, and he stuck it away. And the goal ruled out for offside.
My word, I can't really see why that was ruled out. I think he's given it for handball.
Handball, yeah.
But what a finish. Look at this finish. He hits it so early and with the outside of his right foot. I think he would be the first to admit this hasn't been the best season of his career, but he's a very dangerous man, and that was a first-class piece of finishing.
Well, he hasn't scored since early January, Vialli. He thought he tucked that one away cleanly enough. But the referee pulling play back, and it certainly looked like handball on the replay. Couldn't see any offside, certainly. So an escape for Fiorentina. And it'll be Baggio with the free kick then for Juventus. What an excellent ball it was too, and right across the face of the goal. Carrera, a player who got on the end of the pass from Baggio. Such invention again shown by the Italian star.
It was a fantastic pass, but it was great running off the ball by Carrera. That's very intelligent play. It wasn't the best defending by Fiorentina, and perhaps that's why they find themselves in the lower reaches of the first division. There goes the pass. They're all ball watching, and in goes Carrera, just fails to put it in the back of the net.
Kohler. Support from Marocchi. Júlio César, who had that lengthy spell out with a broken leg. Sustained during the match with Napoli. It goes Luppi, former Juventus player, so he'll be keen to impress today. Play on, says the referee. Away goes Laudrup, giving Fiorentina the advantage, but they can't accept it. Now Conte. Certainly the game has started at quite a pace.
It started off very well. And you see Luppi still on the floor there, playing a fantastic 1-2 with Brian Laudrup.
Baggio. Now Marocchi. Out goes Vialli. And the referee shook her head and turned away.
I think they can find themselves very fortunate there, Fiorentina. That looked as if it may well have been a push on Vialli in the box. He showed up terrific. He made a great angle for the guy passing the ball into him and held his ground inside the penalty area, which is the right thing to do. Don't come out of the penalty area. And the defender just plundered into the back of it.
An injury meantime then to Gianluca Luppi. Just time to, as we're seeing that tackle again, which was a little late from Carrera, time to bring the news of 2 early goals in Serie A today. Parma have taken the lead against Roma. Ozio the scorer. And it's Genoa 0, Brescia 1 in the relegation battle. So good start there. Saval getting the goal. Good start for Brescia. Certainly a promising start to this game. Di Mauro. Here's Marocchi. Down goes Vialli again. Coming in for some careful attention in these early minutes. Möller scored twice in the San Siro in that fabulous win over Milan, which certainly has given Inter hope of catching Milan at the top. Mareggini coming a long way up to fist it clear. Casiraghi with the layoff. Juventus playing briskly and with confidence in these early minutes after their recent improved form. Good save then by Mareggini, down low from Carrera's shot.
Yes, a very good save, Peter. It's a very skiddy surface. Here we see it again. And he gets hold of it at the second attempt. That's a good save. This is a fine start by Juventus. They're really taking the game to Fiorentina, and hopefully we'll see the breakthrough very shortly.
Vialli showing too much urgency then. You can probably hear the rain pounding down on our microphones. It really is raining furiously at the moment. Effenberg. Baggio with Roberto Baggio. Sparkling form at the moment, Baggio. Scored some outstanding goals, including one against Milan. Also for Italy in their recent match against Estonia. Di Mauro, another of the Italian internationals on parade. Effenberg. To Carnasciali, who's been called up into the Italian squad for the World Cup game against Switzerland next weekend. Something of a surprise promotion for him, but he has been playing very well. So his team's overall general disappointing form hasn't affected his international prospects. Kohler. Of course, in the German national side. Looking for Vialli, who turns so sharply. Luppi's tackle. Feels for a penalty from the crowd, not from the players. Well-timed tackle. As Vialli goes crashing to the ground again.
Well, I think looking at that one again, he was very fortunate. The first one may not have been, but that looked a bit close. And I can assure you, if they get another one in the penalty box, it may well be a penalty. So Luppi will have to be very careful from now on.
Fiorentina living dangerously. Vialli, already started well. No lack of confidence from Vialli so far.
Oh, that was sensational ball control. He positions his body so the defender can't get there, and his first touch was quite excellent. Unfortunately, the shot wasn't as good. But Vialli, as you say, Peter, started very well indeed. The thing to look out for with Vialli, although perhaps his own form may suffer at times, he's always making himself available for his teammates, and that's a sign of a class player.
13 games without a goal, Gianluca Vialli. Maybe that's going to change this afternoon.
I'm sure his work rate is the thing that Trapattoni will look to as well, Peter, and the way he unites the team. He's a good lad, and he gets the team playing together. I think Trapattoni thinks he's a very valuable member, even though he's not scoring goals.
Baggio to Júlio César. The rock at the back alongside Kohler. Here's Conte now, such a busy player on the Juventus side. Scored his first goals for a long time in Serie A in the recent win over the rivals Torino. Marocchi. Headed down by Casiraghi. In go the two Baggios. Faccenda was there. Faccenda, one of the markers at the back for Fiorentina. Iachini away, maybe after a simple nudge on Roberto Baggio. Conte, Marocchi. Here's Baiano. Faccenda's gone racing out of defence. In fact, watching the early minutes, I think Faccenda has the sweeper role today. They have switched it around this season, Fiorentina. Baiano to Carnasciali. Laudrup had gone outside him. Here's Baiano. And Carnasciali feeling in vain for a free kick, feeling he was impeded.
It was a very good run from Brian Laudrup, taking the defender away and allowing Carnasciali to have the 1-against-1. A very intelligent play. Carnasciali, in actual fact, we haven't seen much of, but he looks to have a tremendous turn of pace.
Casiraghi. Dino Baggio, Casiraghi again. Just too long. Carobbi, the last back there for Fiorentina. Had only the one win away from home this season against Pescara. So they haven't done particularly well on their travels at all. Effenberg. Foul by Casiraghi on Luppi.
It's a silly challenge as well. They've actually got them where they want them. He was struggling there to get that away, and Casiraghi just ploughed into him and given the free kick away.
There's another one too. This time Carnasciali going down. His first season in Serie A, Carnasciali. Coming in. Parma are 2 up against Roma. Piazzi with the second goal there from the penalty spot. And Inter have taken the lead against Ancona. And it's Bergami with the goal there for Inter. Team, of course, hard on the heels of Milan, up at the top of the table. Milan away to Udinese this afternoon. And we understand Marco van Basten is on the bench. Confirm that for you later on. That was certainly the early team news from Milan. Carobbi, Laudrup. Now Effenberg, all revolves around him. Started the season really well, Effenberg, as indeed did Laudrup. They haven't quite managed to maintain that form. And that's a key factor as to why Fiorentina's form has dipped. Pioli now. Faccenda to tidy up. Oh, he just found Luppi. Dino Baggio it really quickly then on Effenberg. But he's won it back well. There's danger here. Baiano ahead of him. Laudrup in support too. Here's Baiano. And Peruzzi just got down sufficiently to save. Peruzzi, who's been recalled in goal today, having been out through injury. Rampula took over. Now he himself is injured, so Peruzzi back in the first team jersey.
That was great play from Baiano. He made a terrific run to actually get into that area, and then he flashes the ball across the face of the goal. He's got a bit of a thankless old task this afternoon, playing up there on his own against the likes of Kohler and Júlio César.
15 minutes gone, no score. Openings for both sides. This is Di Mauro, very talented player. And an interesting comparison today between Di Mauro and Dino Baggio in the Juve side, two rivals really for the same role in the Italian national team. So it's Di Mauro with the free kick. Too easy though for Jurgen Kohler. Baggio to Conte, to Möller rather. There's Baggio again. Seeking out Vialli. Saw the strength there of Casiraghi. And the header, well, just tipped over at the last hit by Mareggini. Seemed to be dipping over the bar, and seemed to be dipping underneath it.
Yeah, that's right. That was a bit of a funny old save, wasn't it? But he's got it away, and Juventus find themselves with a corner. Casiraghi's an interesting player, Peter. He's very mobile for a big chap, and I'll let this corner go in.
Taken by Möller. Now Jurgen Kohler, can he get across it from here? Came off Laudrup, and Pioli just managing to get it away. Effenberg. Towards Baiano. And he has been penalised. You were saying about Casiraghi.
Yes, that's right. He's more of a British-style centre-forward, but he's very mobile. He's a terrific header of the ball. And he's an interesting player to watch, especially when you've got the likes of Baggio, who can give him the perfect service.
That was Dino Baggio, away by Faccenda. Yes, Arrigo Sacchi certainly favours him. He seems to pick Casiraghi for the national team when he's fit, even though he's not an automatic choice in the Juventus side. Möller.
think the thing with it, Peter, he gives you that other option. If things aren't going well on the floor, then Casiraghi is a superb header of the ball, and you can start throwing in a few longer balls for him and hope to get a few knockdowns.
Mauro to Laudrup. 2 goals in his last 3 games, Brian Laudrup. Carobbi. Support from Baiano. Not a bad strike either. Peruzzi scrambling down to make the save.
Yes, any shot from that sort of distance is going to be difficult, and Peruzzi did well to actually get his body behind it. As you see, the shot goes in, just skids up, and there's Peruzzi getting his whole body behind it. Good goalkeeper.
Baiano, who hasn't scored for a few matches now, 8 in all though. And of course he formed that lethal partnership with Signori last season at Faccenda. Casiraghi. Here's Marocchi. Effenberg. Laudrup. No free kick, Vialli. On go Juventus now with Kohler. Roberto Baggio. Hounded by Pioli. Kohler. Baggio taking over. Trying to whip over the cross. Hoots of derision from the Fiorentina fans. Some 2,000 of them in the stadium. Baggio, of course, a former Fiorentina player. There was uproar in Florence when he was allowed to leave. Very much part of the scene at Juventus. And it's Iachini, his marker, who is down injured. Looks to be holding his arm though.
I think he's actually been hit by something thrown from the terrace, Peter. He's got a whack on the arm by some object.
Iachini, who's a real terrier on the Fiorentina side, but he's still got a nasty injury here.
And they'll need him on the pitch as well, because he hasn't started too badly picking up Baggio. I don't think
he did enough to deter him there, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think he actually got an injury from Baggio there.
Still the rain absolutely teeming down.
The game's going pretty much as we said it would go, Peter. Juventus doing all the pressing, and Fiorentina defending very deep, not allowing any space behind them so people can make runs into. So it's vital that Juventus get wide and get good ball into the box.
In the throes of a good run at the moment, Juventus. They've not lost in 4, 3 wins and a draw. Möller taking the corner. Almost at the halfway point in the first half. And away come Fiorentina with Effenberg. Di Mauro. Foul by Dino Baggio. Di Mauro, who's been a real success since his move from Roma. And Juventus, I gather, are very interested in the services for next season. Baiano. Support from Carobbi. Good anticipation though by Conte. Then away by Dino Baggio. Vialli, Möller. Juve streaming forward now. Conte. Here's Dino Baggio, the anchor man in midfield. Show too much of that to Carobbi. Baiano. This is Effenberg. Laudrup. That's tremendous pace, Laudrup. Júlio César, though, standing firm. Really resolute defending by the Brazilian.
He really does make the game look very easy, César. He's a big man, but he defends very well. Great feet as well when he comes out with the ball.
Free kick for the foul on Roberto Baggio. Followed everywhere by Iachini. Here's Baggio now. 14 league goals, 21 in all competitions. Tremendous season. Way by Faccenda. Jürgen Kohler. pressure from Baiano. Conte. Baggio. Oh, fabulous turn then by Baggio, and the shot just skidded off the deflection. Marvellous piece of skill there by Baggio.
My word, that was fantastic skill, Peter. Yeah, you know, you think this guy plays week in and week out with man-to-man markers, and that turn was quite sensational.
Well, the nearest thing I've seen to him in the English game at the moment is Paul Walsh, who had an absolutely outstanding match for Portsmouth yesterday, and he's showing all the old guile that earned him England caps. He's twisting and turning and chasing everything, and well, maybe he's been watching Baggio on a Sunday. And I gather the England team are watching in this afternoon from their headquarters, preparing, of course, for the match against Holland in the week of the World Cup qualifier. And the latest news of Paul Gascoigne, well, they're all optimistic and very hopeful that he will be playing in the starting lineup for England. It's the very latest news from the England camp. No problems at all injury-wise with the other two Italian-based players, Des Walker and David Platt, both fit to play.
Yes, I'm sure we wish them all the very best as well, Peter. It's a tough old game for them on Wednesday, and I'm sure the lads can come through and get the result that everybody wishes them to.
And Gazza, if you're listening, you'll be pleased to know that your team Lazio have taken the lead against Pescara. Goal from defender Vialli. Well, the ball out of play because of an injury. Not quite sure who that is down there.
No, I haven't got a clue either, Peter, who that is.
Maybe Fiorentina have just taken the sting out of Juve now, right?
Yes, I think that's what they've been aiming to do. You've seen Effenberg is the man that controls the pace of their game, and it's been a very slow build-up from them, trying to drag Juventus out from their defensive setup. So the likes of Baiano with his tremendous pace and Laudrup coming from deep can cause a few problems. But all this takes the sting out of it as well. You know, we had a very, very interesting start from Juventus.
Oh, Pioli was clearly winded. Key man for them. He's had his problems with discipline this season, Pioli. He's had 8 yellow cards and a sending off. But he's back in the fray now. 25 minutes gone in the first half. One ball from Carrera, dealt with by Faccenda. Now Carnasciali. Well read though by Dino Baggio. Vialli. Marocchi with the cross. Not by Pioli. Laudrup, lovely layoff it. Carobbi, tackled by Conte.
That was lovely football, wasn't it, from Laudrup? There's great awareness of the run of Carobbi, and he broke forward from the back very well there, and superbly found by Laudrup.
Carobbi, who apparently isn't favoured by the vice president of the club, Vittorio Cecchigori, who has some influence, I gather, in team matters.
And that's a bit disappointing, isn't it, when you hire the manager to deal with the team matters, and you've got the vice president that isn't too keen, and that's a bit disappointing.
Although, I think ironically under Agroppi, he's played more often, Carobbi. That was certainly one of the bones of contention over the sacking of Radice back in January. Bit of an unusual dismissal, really. At that time, Fiorentina were right up near the top of the table. Internal politics played their part. Baiano. Effenberg.
There's naturally a little bit of frustration creeping in. Fiorentina are keeping the ball away from Juventus quite well when they have it. Nice intricate little passing movements. And Juventus wanting to get on with the game, aren't prepared to stand for it.
Möller. This is Carrera, who had that early chance set for Juve when he was set clear by Baggio's intelligent distribution. Jürgen Kohler. Iachini was hard on the shirt tail then of Roberto Baggio. Pioli. Now Laudrup. Support arriving with Carnasciali, who was caught then by Marocchi. I'm sure there was anything intentional there, but he certainly tripped him.
It's certainly a tremendous break as well from the back. Carnasciali must have made up 70 yards to get up with Laudrup, and that really is good running from the fullback.
And he has been impressive so far, Carnasciali. His confidence obviously high after his selection for the Italian squad. And there's an opportunity here then for Fiorentina. Mauro organising the free kick with Stefan Effenberg. And we know his shooting prowess from long range.
Yes, he scored several goals from this sort of distance this season. And, it's a worrying time for Juventus.
Peruzzi making sure the wall is correctly positioned. It's Baiano just in front of the wall for Fiorentina. Is Effenberg going to crack one from here? The referee is happy at last. Effenberg isn't. I think Júlio César taking that handball.
I think he's saying he tried to do a bit of kidology. I think he tried to say he moved the ball forward.
Well, there's Effenberg's shot. It was all a waste of time. I don't know if the whistle had gone. If it had, it would have been handball. Effenberg releasing Laudrup. Now, was that a push by Marocchi? Well, the Fiorentina players were incensed then. They felt there should have been a penalty.
I did too. I thought Laudrup had done extremely well. Look at that run from Casiraghi.
Casiraghi's in here. The saving tackle was from Luppi. And what an important challenge too then from the Fiorentina defender.
You're quite right, Peter. That was a magnificent run from Casiraghi there to get in that position.
Baggio taking the corner quickly, hoping to catch Fiorentina unawares after their sortie upfield. Marocchi harmlessly through though, safely into the arms of Mareggini.
Yeah, that's the third or fourth cross Marocchi's had from the left-hand side of the field, and unfortunately, he's wasted most of them, and he's got to take his time a little bit more and pick out the cross.
Half an hour gone. Still Juventus 0, Fiorentina 0, and this is Dino Baggio for Juventus. Conte. Marocchi. Vialli. Effenberg just got his foot in there. And it's Pioli in possession for Fiorentina. Baiano. Carobbi. This is Effenberg. Now Di Mauro. That was neatly played. Effenberg.
Yeah, we have seen some very nice pieces of individual ability, and that one from Di Mauro was first class as well. Feinting to play the ball down the line with the outside of his right foot and just lifting it over the defender as he comes in. Very nice football.
Fiorentina, just to recap, perilously close to the relegation places, only 2 points clear of safety at the moment. Carrera threading it on. Dino Baggio from Roberto's pass. This fell then for Casiraghi. Möller. Vialli with Kohler. And a whole posse of Fiorentina defenders scrambling clear.
My word, that was a bit of a challenge from Kohler. The ball was a 50-50 ball, I think, with Faccenda, and no holds bar. He just went straight through him. A bit unfortunate that the ricochet actually took it out for a goal kick. He, a little bit more fortunate, it could have ended up going on target.
Di Mauro. Baggio seems to be a fixture in the Italian national team at the moment. Vialli here is fighting to get his place back. Good perseverance shown by Vialli, but not enough to break Fiorentina down. Carrera taking the throw. Conte. Carrera. Baggio. Now Conte. Vialli trying to get Conte in. Surely he was being pulled back then. Well, Conte can't believe he hasn't earned a penalty. It certainly looked from here that he had a case.
My word, I should say so. That really did look a penalty. He broke into the box really well. Vialli played a lovely measured pass. Here we see it. Yeah, definitely having his shirt pulled by Di Mauro. And that's the third occasion that Juventus have found themselves in the penalty area. Unfortunately, haven't been awarded the penalty they quite rightly deserved on that occasion.
Then he gives a free kick for that one. That's a yellow card for Carrera.
Quite right too. He's nearly assaulted Laudrup there. That's a terrible challenge.
It was an awful tackle by Carrera. Maybe some frustration creeping in.
I think he was petrified of Laudrup's pace as well. Laudrup has shown on several occasions this afternoon his ability to go past players, and that was another incident there.
He was really late there, Carrera. Laudrup, whose pace is so exceptional. And there was no chance being taken then by Carrera of Laudrup being allowed to make tracks for goal. Laudrup still receiving attention. Free kick then to Fiorentina. Pioli has come up from the backhand for Faccenda. Carnasciali as well. Limping figure of Brian Laudrup. Baiano's kick towards Pioli. The better of Júlio César. Now, was that a push by the Brazilian? No, says the referee. Off goes Vialli until Luppi got hit with the covering tackle. Baggio. Marocchi. Yeah, but Kohler outside him. He's made several advances in this first half, Kohler. Dangerous ball in two towards Casiraghi, who climbed well, but didn't time it sufficiently.
No, you're quite correct, Pete. That was a tremendous ball from Kohler, and Casiraghi didn't time it right. But that's the second cross, in actual fact, that Kohler's hit in from the right-hand side, and he's been their best crosser of the ball. He's taken his time, and he's picked Casiraghi out well, who leapt very well indeed, but unfortunately his body was just in the wrong position.
Good news for Des Walker. If you're watching Des, Sampdoria has the side, of course. And they have taken the lead away to Atalanta. And it's Attilio Lombardo who has scored that goal. Another man who has been in the international side, Lombardo, but doesn't seem to be featuring in Arrigo Sacchi's plans at this stage. Which always surprises us, Ray.
Yes, that's right.
I don't sound too convinced.
I was fast asleep there a second, my thoughts were drifting. But, you know, we talk about players being in the national side. There are so many talented players that I'm sure Sacchi's got a very, very difficult job. If you just assess the fact when you have a Viola of Naples, he doesn't get a game now because Baggio's the top man, and you know, we can possibly single out 3 or 4 players in every position that you would think would get international recognition, but it's a very difficult job that he possesses.
Vialli working so hard, shaking off Luppi. And he's won the corner. It could have been more severe. Started in his usual belligerent fashion. Vialli. Möller taking the corner. And Mareggini thought about coming for it. He collected the header from Casiraghi.
Yeah, it's a good header from Casiraghi, getting across the front of the defender and powering one into the goalkeeper's arms. But Vialli really has played well in this first half. His movement off the ball making himself available for his teammates has been quite exceptional. And if anyone's going to fight to get back in the Italian side, I think we've seen today that Vialli's prepared for that fight.
Baiano. Here's Di Mauro. Laudrup. Patient pulled up by Fiorentina, but then they had the acceleration of Laudrup to create some damage.
That was fabulous football, wasn't it? Taking on the fullback, going past him, and he hit in exactly the same cross as he did last week, but there was Batistuta to put the ball in the net. But unfortunately, there was no Batistuta today, but Laudrup showing exceptional skill.
Kohler. Conte. Lay off by Vialli. Still Conte. Now Marocchi. Wasn't the best of crosses, though. Give Fiorentina the chance to break now with Effenberg. Laudrup in support too, and Baiano away to his left. Here's Laudrup. Canio now. Away from the corner.
They've come back into the game well, Fiorentina. That was nice football from them. Very patient. Laudrup slipping Carnasciali in, and Carnasciali trying to deliver the ball into that channel between defender and goalkeeper, with Effenberg going in the back of Kohler.
I think if Laudrup had been in possession then, he might have had a crack at goal, or certainly a run on goal with his pace. Canio has stayed forward. Here's Laudrup now with him with the corner. Effenberg, good save by Peruzzi. Carobbi, Iachini, good spell this for Fiorentina. Di Mauro. Still got several up in this attack, Fiorentina. And here is Laudrup. Now Carnasciali, who's onside. Another dangerous ball in. And the shot just squirming wide. From Iachini.
Very good football again. Carnasciali again delivering a first-class cross. But the thing about the Fiorentina side is their movement around the penalty area. They're making little darting runs, whether it be Carnasciali or Baiano, and it's very difficult for defenders to pick up when they just break off of each other's shoulders, and they're causing them a few problems at Fiorentina.
In fact, it was Effenberg with the shot, and he wasn't far away either. Baiano.
Tremendous tackle from Iachini there on Baggio as he burst forward.
Effenberg. Laudrup. Canio streaking through his near side again. He's made so many sorties down his flank. That was neatly done for Peruzzi. Not sure about the clearance though. Oh, that was an escape point.
Oh, he did ever so well, and if Laudrup would have taken that, I'm sure he would have had a pop at goal. But again, it was that run from Carnasciali. Great running off the ball. It makes up the passer's mind for him. It was a good run inside the fullback, and Laudrup played a super ball through for him.
Well, I think you'd have been proud of Peruzzi's skill there, Ray, but maybe not the pass.
No, the skill was first class.
Kohler. Möller. Fiorentina certainly coming much more into things now. This is Baggio for Juventus. And the warning signs are always up when this fellow's in possession. Good work though by Faccenda. Carnasciali rather. And that's a foul.
Iachini's played for it as well. I think it was Dino Baggio putting him under pressure, and he played for it. He was in a difficult position there. Yeah, he's all over him now. I think it's Marocchi, isn't it? And he's all over him, and it's a bad free kick to give away. Iachini was struggling to get the ball upfield, but he's now got a free kick for some very poor defending.
Now Pescara have equalised against Lazio. Sorry about that, Gaza. Allegri with a penalty. 1-1 Lazio against Pescara. Lazio currently in third place above Juventus. Júlio César shepherding the ball out, and it's a goal kick to Juve. Both teams on 32 points, the same as Parma. Marocchi. goes Baggio. 3 minutes of the first half to go. And he's dealt with the challenge of Iachini, but he's come back for a second crack at him. Marocchi, Baggio. There's so much confidence in his own ability. Too many defenders then. Now Di Mauro, Carnasciali. Laudrup. This is Carobbi. And the free kick has been given, to the dismay of the Juve fans in the stadium.
Yes, I don't think the referee is a very popular man this afternoon. He's turned down 3 penalty claims by Juventus, and that quite obviously wasn't a foul, but Carobbi going down and feigning injury.
A clean tackle by Carrera. Baiano taking the throw, or maybe leaving it for Carobbi. Baiano. Here's Di Mauro. Turned by Laudrup. Away from Carrera. Lightning burst of speed again. Effenberg. Good strike. And a fabulous save by Peruzzi.
That really was a fabulous save, Peter. Yeah, great play from Laudrup, showing tremendous strength to get past Marocchi. And that was a fabulous little pass as well. And there we see Peruzzi just pushing it round the post. Good football from Fiorentina.
Effenberg, who's only scored 3 times in Serie A this season, but he's threatened to add to that tally on at least 2 occasions in this game so far. Clean catch this time for Peruzzi. He seemed to be firmly established as the #1 choice with Juventus after his early season form, but when Rampula came in recently, he did so well that Trapattoni's had a bit of a rethink. But Rampula picked up an ankle injury in the win in Paris in the week. Into the last minute of the first half. Foul on Di Mauro. Kick taken by Luppi. Kohler's tackle on Baiano. Off Marocchi for Fiorentina throw. Baiano almost into time added on for stoppages. Laudrup seemed to be impeded, but no free kick given. Off goes Möller. Now into injury time. Conte trying to commit defenders. Broken up though. Di Mauro to Laudrup. Needing support. And it arrives in the shape of Effenberg, who nearly got away from Dino Baggio then. Certainly the 2 former Bayern Munich players, Effenberg and Laudrup, have been very prominent in the first half.
Yes, they have. Effenberg, I think, has controlled the game from the Fiorentina point of view, and Laudrup really does show at times fantastic burst of pace, great skill. I'd like to see him get in the game slightly more. He tends to drift out of games a lot, but he really has shown on several occasions his tremendous ability. But I've been very impressed with Effenberg. I think Effenberg can be quite pleased with his first season in Italian football. He's shown a tremendous amount of composure this afternoon, and it was a hard act to follow, following Dunga, who left Fiorentina last year. But Effenberg's come in and done very well.
Baggio with the free kick. The last few seconds of the first half. Played in by Carrera. The header going well wide from Casiraghi.
There's that extra option he gives you there, Peter. They can afford to lump a ball in from 40 yards out and know that Casiraghi's got the opportunity or got the chance to get in on the end of it.
Faccenda to Di Mauro. Just creating a little bit of room for himself before bringing Effenberg into the game. Mauro. That's Vialli tackling back at him. Showing how hard he's prepared to work Vialli. But there is the whistle to end the first half. Well, no goals, but certainly chances at both ends on this very skiddy surface as the rain continues to fall in Turin. Half-time, Juve 0. Goalless first half, Udinese against Milan. So, Ray Wilkins, your thoughts on the second half now?
Yes, I would imagine Trapattoni would like Juventus to go out and play as they did in the first 20 minutes of the first half. They were very aggressive, put Fiorentina under an enormous amount of pressure, and on a couple of occasions could have had penalty decisions go their way. But before the second half kicks off, Peter, I must say I made an enormous blunder in the first half, and before you eagle-eyed viewers start writing loads of letters into me, it is of course Zola from Naples and not Viola, as I often call him.
We had a Mr. Viola on the phone about it. He said he's glad you called him up for the national team. I wasn't sure when you said it, but I didn't like to doubt you.
No, it was an enormous blunder.
We all make mistakes, Roger. So Juventus then start the second half, now kicking from left to right. This is Conte. Juventus, who've suffered only 2 home defeats so far this season. Not surprisingly, perhaps, to the 2 top clubs, both from Milan, Inter and AC Milan. The only sides to have got the better of Juve in Turin. This is Möller. Conte. Jurgen Kohler. Known as Iron Foot. Júlio César. Still an extremely foul afternoon. There's a foul to match. Rain absolutely pouring down.
It does make for good football though, Peter, when you get a skiddy top like this. The ball does zip across it, and we see lots of nice passing movements when it's these sort of conditions.
Vialli with the header. Conte. Trapattoni, the coach of Juventus, was hoping it wouldn't be a warm afternoon after their exertions in the UEFA Cup in midweek, so he won't be too disappointed. It was an outstanding result for Juve, 1-0 away to Paris Saint-Germain, 3-1 on aggregate to go through to the UEFA Cup final, which of course they won back in 1990 under Dino Zoff.
And that's tremendous news as well for David Platt, who, if David's watching, well done, David. It's a tremendous achievement to get into any final, but to reach a European final with your club in your first season there is a tremendous achievement.
Played really well too. Now Möller. Vialli. Linking with Baggio. As ever, Iachini is with him. He's really left his side today, Iachini. Such as the threat posed by Roberto Baggio.
Been a tremendous contest. Baggio making runs everywhere, darting little runs, little 15, 20-yard runs to try and lose him, but Iachini stuck to him like glue. And a very good contest.
And of their 8 defeats in the league, Juventus have lost 5 without Baggio in the starting lineup. So that's an indication of his influence on them. Marocchi. To Fiorentina, who will take heart from their first half showing. Effenberg on the ball now, certainly could have given them the lead. Carnasciali on the charge. Júlio César though was in the way.
He must be a fit lad, Carnasciali. He's been up and down that line all afternoon. That's that must be the 20th run that he's done, and it's not as if he's running 10 yards, he's running 60, 70 yards at a time, but it was good covering from César, who has had an excellent game, not only defensively, but also in possession of the ball.
Played most of his early football in the lower leagues, Carnasciali, before moving to pressure, and then on to Fiorentina this season. Now rewarded with that call-up for the Italian side. Baiano, who has featured in the national team in the past, of late. Won the free kick. Another player with a terrific turn of pace by Anna.
He's got a great work rate as well, Peter. He's playing up there all on his own, and it's he's playing against two world-class defenders. And he's really giving it the gun this afternoon. He's had a super performance.
Now on Vialli. Iachini with another typically tigerish challenge. He puts himself about this fellow. Now, Júlio César with the free kick then for Juventus. Towards Baggio, Iachini was there, and Mauro winning it. Now Jürgen Kohler. Júlio César, route one this time. Iachini climbing over Baggio. There's a tackle between the two off the ball. Conte, Marocchi, cut out by Di Mauro. Casiraghi trying to set himself up for the shot. And the deflection might have gone anywhere then off Pioli. He took the sting off the shot. Now run dispossessed by Carrera. Vialli working so hard again from deep. Dino Baggio. Free kick taken by Vialli. Dino Baggio. For Roberto. Baggio didn't quite fall that for Vialli, and here's the danger again of the counter-attack as Laudrup goes speeding away. Now up for Baiano, who's just offside. And the foul given anyway.
I think Baiano was very, very unfortunate. The fact that the defender slipped, the defender actually was going to go with him when he made his run. He slipped over, and I think that's what caused him to run offside. But again, it was good play from Laudrup, using that pace again, breaking through his own penalty box. Terrific stuff.
Faccenda. This is Luppi, a Juve player. Vialli, Möller. Just to confirm for anyone who may have missed the news earlier on, the big game in England today, won by Newcastle in North East derby against Sunderland by a 1-0. Mauro, Carnasciali, Mauro once more, cheekily played. Iachini.
He put lovely disguise on that Di Mauro. Again, he was feinting to play the ball down the line as the defender stretched his legs across. He just rolled it through his legs for a nutmeg in the profession. Very nice play.
Faccenda, now 32 years old for Faccenda, so he's been around on the scene for a while. Played every game last season, but not an automatic choice in this one. Now Möller, he's within striking range. And Mareggini called into the action. Spanking drive from Andy Möller.
He's had a quiet game, Möller, Peter, hasn't he? Carobbi, I think, has kept him quite quiet. That, again, good goalkeeping, getting his body right behind the ball, coming off a skiddy surface.
Möller's pass, laid off then by Baggio. 10 goals from Andy Möller this season. Which is a fair return for him. His first campaign in Italy. Effenberg surely held back then by Dino Baggio. Dino Baggio. Mareggini coming to collect, and he was looking dangerously that time. Luppi to help him out.
Looks as if he could have picked it up, actually, but it looks as if he'd got there and the ball was still in the box. Very risky play.
Goalkeepers have to think so carefully now before they pick the ball up these days with the back pass rule. Certainly have to have their wits about them. Mauro. Goes Laudrup. To no avail. Fiorentina, who've certainly had their problems in recent times. And there seems every suggestion that Agroppi, the current coach, won't be with them next season. And there's even talk that Iachini, who was the last coach of the Italian national side, may be asked to take over. Iachini, who at the moment is with Cesena. Effenberg. In for Laudrup. Lovely change of direction then by the Danish international. But he ran straight into Carrera. Here's Möller. Now by Faccenda and Pioli between them.
Yes, I think he can count himself. Very unfortunate. It's a great recovery run from him. He gets his arm across his shoulder, but Möller, realising he's going to lose the ball, just falls over.
It's a corner forced by the endeavours of Roberto Baggio. 10 minutes into the second half. Baggio's kick. Mareggini comes for it, fists it clear. Baiano scrapping with Conte. And the free kick given in favour of Fiorentina.
We're having a little scrappy 5 minutes, aren't we? The game really hasn't taken off in the second half. I think Trapattoni may be looking for a change, perhaps, with Canio, who can play wide. Very tricky player as well. And I think that's what they need at the moment, Juventus, to get wide of the Fiorentina defence and start hitting some crosses in. The middle of the goal mouth is extremely congested and very difficult to go through.
Well, Inter are finding it easy enough. 3-0. They are now at home to Ancona. Ruben Sosa has scored his 16th of the season. Baggio hoping there to score his 22nd in all. But all Juve have is the free kick. I say all. Always dangerous from this kind of distance.
Yes, this is a great position for Baggio. He's a master from here, and I think we can definitely see him hitting the target.
Andy Möller may also have a say in it. I think they're happy with the ball, though, at the moment. Of course, Júlio César can really strike them too. This is a thunderous shot. So many possibilities. Certainly matters of concern for the Fiorentina defenders. It's Andy Möller. So it looks as if he's lining up the shot. Baggio has gone into the wall. Taking a fair old run at it too. Here's Möller. Shows how wrong you can be. Away by Mauro. That's awful. Probably not Wilkins. I expect he's sussed it. I'll ask him in a moment. Jürgen Kohler. Terrific power shown by him. Trying to tease out the goalkeeper. And there was a misunderstanding there. And Pioli has needlessly given away the corner. Getting a consoling pat from his goalkeeper.
Yes, and again it was Kohler getting up there, and that wasn't the worst cross in the world either. Juventus has got to start getting across the face of people and getting into that box.
Möller whipping it over. Dino Baggio almost made contact. Wasn't far away from that one.
No, fractions away, wasn't he? That was a good corner coming in there, and Dino Baggio flying at the ball was unable to make contact. That's a bit better. There goes the ball from Andy Möller, and he's only fractions away from that.
And what about the Möller free kick, right?
Yeah, the Möller free kick, I thought it a bit strange that Baggio didn't actually get on the ball. That is his sort of position, and when you saw our friend Vialli having a chat with him, you thought he might have had something up his sleeve.
Faccenda has got caught out then. Carobbi. Baiano. Caught by Jürgen Kohler. Not too many strikers get the better of him. And as Ray was saying earlier on, he's got a pretty thankless task today up front, Baiano. A lot resting on him with Batistuta out of the side. Batistuta 13 goals this season. Caution here, I can't think for Baggio.
No, we've got a
substitution being made anyway.
We've got a substitution. Di Canio is coming on. And Möller's gone off. Möller has, in actual fact, had a very quiet afternoon. And Di Canio is a tricky old player, and hopefully he can turn the tide.
He always seems to do well when we see him, Di Canio, but Trapattoni doesn't give him a regular run in the side with it.
No, I think that applies to lots of players as well, Peter. Once they start the game, they don't seem to get into it, but coming on with fresh legs, they appear to get that little bit more space that they require to do their stuff.
So it's a classic case in English football, Ronnie Rosenthal, who never seems to get too many starts.
Yes, that's
does
right.
well when he comes on.
Well, he's devastating when he comes on, Ronnie, isn't he? As we know, down at Loftus Road, he beat us early on in the year, and yes, he's a very good player.
Baggio. And here is Di Canio. Very tricky player, full of skills, full of cheek. That's not a bad ball in either. And a goal! Marocchi. Great ball in by Di Canio. And Marocchi wrong-footed the goalkeeper with his header.
Yes, that's a very good goal from Marocchi. He's breaking from deep there, coming in on the back post. But as you said, Peter, Di Canio there, that was great skill. He feints to pass the ball in around the defender, comes back and hits it in with the outside of his right foot. Great technique. Missing out the first defender. And there it is, the ball zooming into the far corner. Very good goal.
His first goal of the season, and it gives Juventus the lead. Brave header, and where you saw the goalkeeper there stranded on his goal line, having really committed himself the other way.
Yeah, that's the way to head them back where the balls come from, and they do seem to pick up a lot more pace, and obviously with the skiddy surface the goalkeeper didn't have a chance. I think they've just about deserved to be in front, Juventus. And let's hope Fiorentina can come back now and really make a game of it, because they have looked a bit of a good force going forward, very, very fast.
And a yellow card for Marocchi, which I presume is for over-celebrating. They're pretty tight on this.
Yeah, and it is a shame, really, when you get booked for over-celebrating, because you train all week to score goals and win matches. And it only takes a minute for the lads to have a bit of a giggle and celebrate what they've worked all week for.
Some of them do tend to run around the stadium a couple of times, though, really.
What a big grounds, mate.
You'd just like the chance to celebrate a goal, wouldn't you?
I'd love to, mate. I'll get a nosebleed if I get up that high.
Just a word, though, on your fitness, no problem since the comeback?
No, lovely, thank you. Everything's going very nicely.
Now, Effenberg. See what kind of riposte Fiorentina can manage. Goal coming just before the hour from Marocchi. Great delight for him, having failed to score in any of his previous appearances, and he's had a struggle to get a regular place in the Juve side. Another break on. Dino Baggio. Taint pass though, Mareggini able to clear.
I was wondering if Carnasciali was going to get back and intercept that, because we saw Carnasciali actually putting the goalkeeper under pressure at the other end, and he's made another 75-yard run to get back in play and actually rob the ball back for Fiorentina. That really is good football, and great recovery running from Carnasciali.
And certainly an inspired substitution by Trapattoni to bring Di Canio on. Looking here as if Mareggini is having to go off. Indeed, yes. Manini, the substitute goalkeeper, is going to replace him. The two have had quite a battle on for the first team jersey. So Manini replacing Mareggini. Manini, who's now 35 years old, and he was called into the side recently when Mareggini was dropped, so he will be very keen now to make an impact. Getting his chance again. Vialli ran straight into Effenberg, who simply stood his ground.
Yeah, it's a terrible old day for a goalkeeper to have to come on. He's probably been freezing on the touchline. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Juventus put him under immediate pressure by lofting one up for him.
Júlio César. Can certainly hope to test them on this kick. Not deep enough though. Off goes Effenberg now. Baiano streaking down the middle. Support two from Laudrup. And inevitably Carnasciali out wide here. Covering though by Dino Baggio. And the free kick given in his favour.
It was a strange free kick because I thought Carnasciali actually went down on the floor to anticipate Baggio dragging the ball round him. And the referee's given a free kick. Slightly unfortunate.
Very carefully placed by Júlio César. Didn't fall for Casiraghi, but it does for Roberto Baggio. Tackle coming in from Iachini. Marocchi, the goal scorer. Baggio, away from Iachini. Great skill by Baggio. Faccenda's saving tackle, helped up by Pioli.
Oh, that was great football all round there. Tremendous strength and technique from Baggio getting into the box, and Faccenda standing his ground and making that last-ditch tackle. That was good football all round.
So exciting, Baggio. Faccenda with the header out. As we approach the halfway point in the second half, Juventus 1, Fiorentina 0. Marocchi, whose goal divides the two teams, couldn't shake off Mauro. A real examination now of Fiorentina's battling qualities. Haven't created too many chances. Certainly one or two in the first half that came the way of Effenberg in particular.
It'll be interesting to see if Laudrup pushes up and plays alongside Baiano. They have been playing with the five in the middle of the park, with Laudrup breaking, but obviously a goal down and in a pretty difficult situation at the wrong end of the table. They need to get back in the game and get a point.
Kohler. Wide is Carrera. The ball in search of Casiraghi, who is holding off Pioli. And if anything now, the rain falling even heavier. What a great afternoon for watching football. As many as possible in the stands seeking shelter today. Kohler. Finding Vialli. Held it up so well then. Dino Baggio. Laudrup. No chance to use his steering pace, and it's a foul on Canio.
He was just trying to be a bit too smart there, Laudrup, and Canio read it very well and took the ball away from him. But he did appear to have a bit of space in front of him, which he could have broke into. He's got tremendous pace, and you know, you'd have thought a guy like him would like to isolate people and get at them and go past them. But Canio did very well.
The man who's cross supplied the first goal. He's started 3 of the last 4, Canio. Friendly chat between Vialli and the referee. He's in control of things pretty well today.
Yes, I think that's the majority of Italian referees. They seem to get hold of the game right from the start. They're no nonsense, and he's not had a bad game. He's probably disappointed the Juventus supporters on 2 or 3 occasions with penalty appeals, but apart from that, I think he's had a fair game.
Canio back on his feet, looking too happy. Now here's Vialli. Deflected cross in. Canio. We'll put that down to his misfortune there.
I think that was the old swinger there, Peter, on the left foot with Canio. But again, we saw some great running off the ball from Vialli to pick up the ball from Júlio César, who really, for a big man, does have tremendous feet. He's a great technician with his passing.
Lazio still being held at home by Pescara, 1-1, so Juventus will go above them in the table if these scorelines remain the same. And of course, at the top, Inter will be quite closer to Milan, looking there for Baiano. If results stay as they are, Milan at the moment goalless away to Udinese. Inter well in control, 3 up against Ancona.
Yes, I think that tackle was a one each from Baiano. He was hit on the halfway line by Kohler about 10 minutes ago, and he's just got his own back there. We don't want to see that creep into the game because it hasn't been a bad game. There's some good passing, and it'd be a shame if it started to get silly now.
Jürgen Kohler, who was sent off against Fiorentina earlier in the season. His first ever sending off in a league game, be it in Germany or Italy. His second yellow card on that occasion.
Yes, and that day, if I remember rightly, Fiorentina gave them a real hiding, Peter. They beat them 2-0, but could have been 5 or 6. It was a super performance by the side from Florence.
Yeah, they had a few out Juve that day, and Fiorentina took full advantage. And a young lad called Sartor, who put through his own goal that day. I haven't seen too much of him since, but hopefully that's not going to blight on his career. I'm sure he'll come back from it. Baggio, Vialli, trying to link up with Baggio again. And, well, Iachini just did enough to put him off again. Faccenda now. Here's Mauro. Got 4 or 5 up in this attack. Laudrup is away to his left. This is Effenberg. And he had his shorts tucked then by Dino Baggio. Carnasciali's cross, out by Kohler. Effenberg. Júlio César powerfully heading clear. Really has been a tower of strength at the back, Júlio César. And I gather he was absolutely outstanding in the win in Paris. The rearguard action by Juventus took them through to the UEFA Cup final.
That was a fantastic result, Peter. They've been going very well, the side from Paris, and it's always a hard place to go and play in that stadium in Paris, and Juventus got a tremendous result there.
And they had the African George Weah up front, Paris Saint-Germain. It's Baggio, and he was controlled well enough anyway by Júlio César and Carrera too. Header flashing wide. Good effort by Casiraghi.
Yes, it was a very good effort, wasn't it? The contest between Iachini and Baggio has been absolutely terrific. Here we see it again, a little dinky ball in there from Canio, and there's Casiraghi flying across, getting a tremendous amount of power off the turf. A little bit unfortunate, it went the wrong side of the post.
Now a switch being made by Fiorentina. Mauro coming off. Orlando is the player who will replace him. And we had expected Orlando to be in the starting lineup. There was a suggestion that he wasn't fully fit, so he didn't make the team. Now he has his chance. Talented player who's never quite lived up to his early potential. Marocchi with the back pass. A strong one too. Carobbi. Now Effenberg. Fiorentina have got to be positive now if they're to get anything out of this game. Canio. Some surging runs from him down the flank. Effenberg, caught by Dino Baggio.
Yes, I think Dino Baggio has actually attempted to get slightly tighter on Effenberg because he did tend to run the show and slow the game down for Fiorentina in the first half. I think Trapattoni had a little word with him, get tighter on him, don't let him dictate the game. We've also seen Carrera go man for man on Laudrup and trying to stifle him, so there's contests all over the park now.
News of another goal. Roma have pulled one back against Parma. Aldair, so that's 2-1 now, I think. Meantime, Casiraghi going off to be replaced by Ravanelli. Casiraghi close to a goal on 2 or 3 occasions today. He's only got 1 so far this season in Serie A. Ravanelli, who often features as a substitute, a few starts as well. Former Reggiana player, signed for £3 million. Getting a good reception too from the crowd.
He's a very gifted player, Ravanelli. He's a left-sided player, got a lovely left foot, and For a big man, his technique is excellent.
Kohler. Júlio César. This is Carnasciali. Looking for Baiano. Now Pioli. Baiano again. Carobbi. Released by Canio.
Yeah, going back to the Iachini and Baggio situation, Pete, it's you know, we talk about the great performances of people when in possession of ball, like the Baggios and the Viallis, but for Iachini to mark someone man for 90 minutes and really snuff them out of the game for long periods, it takes a hell of a lot of concentration, and he really has had a very good game marking someone of the class of Baggio.
Foul by Pioli on Ravanelli. Forward by Carrera with 15 minutes to go. A foul by Ravanelli. He's not a man to keep his feelings to himself. He's one of the most passionate strikers in the Italian game, as you'll see if he scores a goal. He's had yellow cards because of it, as indeed Marocchi did today. Júlio César. Juventus still in control. But only the one goal to show for their endeavours. The surface gets the better of Pioli. Ravanelli's throw. Baggio. Now Carnasciali. A niggle from Baggio. Iachini. Orlando. He's got a sweet left foot. Into the path of Luppi. Baiano. 2 months without a goal. Now Fiorentina would love one from him today. Orlando. Laudrup. To Effenberg, all too tight though. Ravanelli beavering away. Outsmarted by Laudrup. Now Carobbi. And it was a last-ditch tackle by Júlio César.
Yeah, great tackle, but it was great football from Laudrup. He going past Ravanelli with his pace again, and Carobbi, both fullbacks in actual fact running off the ball up front has been quite exceptional today, and that was another good run, superbly weighted pass, and had it been a forward player in that position, I think we may well have seen an equaliser, but nevertheless, good stuff from Fiorentina.
Just delaying that fraction of a second too long to enable Júlio César to get his tackle in. Laudrup with the corner, out by Conte. Certainly fresh hope for Fiorentina.
Yeah, they do all that good work, and then Laudrup throws in a pretty poor corner, really, from his standards. There we see that lovely little pass. And by the looks of it, it just got stuck in the middle of his feet. He didn't know which foot to hit it with.
Just hearing that Parma have increased their lead against Roma. It's now 3-1 as Marocchi knocks it through. And that's the second goal of the game for Ozio. So if they win and Juventus win, the two will stay level, but now with 34 points. And they'll go above Lazio, as Lazio can find a winner. Still 1-1 against Pescara. And it's still no goals, Udinese against Milan. Effenberg. Carnasciali. Baiano. No way for him to squeeze past. He's got the corner.
He's done very well to get a corner. He's surrounded there by 3 guys, and I think he used his brains and attempted to play it off of Kohler, and he's been rewarded with the corner.
Now the aerial threat here is posed by Pioli and Faccenda. Can't do too much with that. Baggio, Ravanelli. The break is on for Juventus. Just too long though for Vialli. And some cool defending by Luppi. trying to transform defence into attack, and Laudrup caught Carrera.
Yeah, Laudrup suffering himself from a very poor first touch, allowing the ball to drift away from him, and Carrera was in like a flash. And we see yet another free kick to be taken by César.
Conte. Canio to Carrera. Now Ravanelli. Expertly done! Oh, that's a fabulous goal from Ravanelli. A real moment to treasure. Oh, what a strike.
He's a happy man, Ravanelli. That was a great goal. Now, again, it was great movement off the ball in the box, which gave him the space to move to his left-hand side and really hit a wonderful left-foot shot, which gave the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever. There he goes. He actually winds himself up for it. And the keeper did get his hand to it. He may be a bit disappointed that he didn't push that out. But there it is. He's buried in the back of the net, and 2-0 for Juventus.
His fourth goal of the season, and the second inspired substitution by Trapattoni, whose relief was there to see on his face a moment or so ago as Ravanelli celebrated his strike. What an awesome one it was, creating the space for himself, and a stupendous finish.
That really would round off a superb week for Juventus. Trapattoni would be absolutely delighted the way they've kept the game going and tried to keep the tempo up. And there's old Ravanelli working back on the ball again. That's very important, that all the players are working as a unit and working very hard to get the ball back.
Normally at this stage he's still celebrating the goal, but he's back in the action now. Orlando, robbed by Canio. Some more chasing for Fiorentina to do. And it's hard to see them hauling themselves back into this game now. Such as the grip Juve has fastened on the game. Luppi. He's done well at the back, right?
Yes, it's been a very good contest. Pioli, I think, has moved off the ball actually tremendously well to give people angles in which to play the ball into him. But Luppi has really stuck to his task very well, and that really has been an excellent contest. I think it's a shame we haven't seen Fiorentina as the attacking force that we know they can be. At the start of the season, they were either scoring for or letting in for, and unfortunately today, with Baiano, there he is, he's worked tirelessly to get the game going for them up front. They really haven't got the support to him quick enough. You know, I thought at 1-0 they may well push a few players forward to attempt to get the goal back, but they didn't. Now they find themselves 2 down.
More pressure on them too. Baggio, Vialli, and he was ruled the offender. Careless free kick. Marocchi couldn't keep it down.
Yes, Vialli was a bit unlucky there. I think we saw Pioli try to nip round the side of him, and he used his backside to roll him round, and the referee just judged that he used it a bit too much. And the shot from Marocchi zooming over the top.
Well, Fiorentina's problems are mounting. They're now very close indeed to the relegation places. 13th at the moment. But with Genoa and Udinese drawing at this stage, they're going to be in more serious trouble. Just hearing that Marco van Basten has come on for Milan off the subs bench. Still 0-0 though, away to Udinese. Laudrup trying to find a way through. And here's Canio. Conte. A little bit of arrogance now about Juve's play. A foul by Luppi on Vialli.
Yeah, that's been a great contest, hasn't it, Luppi and Vialli? That's what it's all about. They've really stuck to each other like glue, and it's been a hard game for Vialli, and after the week he's had, he's really kept the pace up very well. His movement off the ball has been fabulous.
Conte. Marocchi. Juve stringing their passes together confidently now. Marocchi.
Marocchi really throwing the ball away there. There was no need really to play that pass. He tried to give him the eyes and look one way and pass it the other, but the passing was good up until that point, and they've got to keep moving the ball around, move the ball quickly and early, and it gives the player in possession a lot more time in which to do what he has to do with it.
And the Juve fans in great voice now as their team head towards another victory to maintain their unbeaten run and add to the successes against Milan and Paris Saint-Germain. Canio. Luppi on his foot in ahead of Vialli. That's what he's saying, a really absorbing contest between these two. Luppi and Gianluca Vialli. He may not be scoring goals, but his appetite for the game certainly remains intact. By Baggio. Laudrup for the header, hoping to combine with Baiano. Perseverance shown then by Baiano. Carnasciali sprinting away down through the middle. And now they've all got to come sprinting back. Conte. Canio away to his left. Vialli here. Ravanelli. Conte. Far too close to the goalkeeper.
That looked a very tired cross from Conte. He made a run of 50 yards there, and his cross was straight into the goalkeeper's arms, but it looked a very tired cross.
Milan still drawing, as I was saying a few moments ago. Inter, the team in second place, they're leading by 3 goals to 0 at home to Ancona, and they're in London on Tuesday. Inter playing in a triangular tournament against Tottenham and also Real Madrid. Of course, is at White Hart Lane. Tuesday night. Sounds like outstanding entertainment. Orlando.
Yeah, going back to that tournament, Peter, is really interesting because I think they're actually playing a one-touch tournament. And you will see some excellent football.
Canio. Only needed one touch to get away from his marker, and lost his footing. Faccenda. Laudrup. Baiano. One touch, you say, Rick?
Yes, I think it's a one-touch tournament. So we really will see some first-class stuff. Tottenham obviously are a very good football inside themselves, and to have Inter and Real Madrid there as well, I think you'll see some really first-class technique.
Luppi, Carnasciali. Continuing to impress Carnasciali. Just taken that too far, though. Now, good news for Des Walker. Sampdoria have taken the lead against Atalanta. They've got it back to 1-1. Atalanta. Bertarelli has made it 2-1 to Sampdoria in the second half. Atalanta 1, Sampdoria 2. Effenberg. Orlando. 2 minutes to go, and here's Laudrup with a chance to pull one back. And that was defiant goalkeeping by Peruzzi.
Great goalkeeping, again great football from Orlando, and Laudrup. His running off the ball was excellent, the pass was superb, and it was a good save from Peruzzi.
Orlando, Effenberg. Baiano. Wiggling his cross back well too. Now comes Conte. Oh, I thought the referee had stopped play for a moment. Well, he did, but not intentionally. Canio on the break. Vialli in support. Baggio was arriving too, and Faccenda. with the tackle. Canio. Neat little ball played in. Vialli couldn't quite turn it in.
No, but that's that area, Peter. The ball zoomed into the near post, and there's Vialli getting across the near post, and just a little bit unfortunate that he didn't put it in. There we see that great ball there. And Peruzzi just gets his arm up to deny Laudrup, which would have been an excellent goal.
So the action sustaining right to the last. Orlando. Looked a fairly innocuous tackle, but the referee's given the free kick. Baiano to Carnasciali. Orlando. Didn't reach Laudrup. Good anticipation shown by Canio. Ravanelli is up with him. Not in too much of a hurry. Support arriving in the shape of Carrera as we move into injury time. Vialli, Ravanelli. It has to be a penalty. No question that time.
Oh, that was excellent football. Vialli holding the ball up lovely. A little ball zipped through the legs. And there's the goalkeeper, Manini, having to pull him down. It was a bit unfortunate for him. He's only just come on the field, but it was a penalty. But good football from Juventus.
Well, they're still protesting, but I can't really see why. Quite clearly then, Manini, the substitute goalkeeper, brought Ravanelli down.
And it is the fourth penalty appeal they've actually had today, and I think sooner or later he was bound to give one, and that really did look possibly the best opportunity for him to do so as well.
Well, Baggio has missed a couple of penalty kicks this season. Ravanelli, in fact, took the last one and scored from it.
It'd be nice for him to actually kick the ball without having Iachini in his shorts, though, Peter.
He's there with him.
He's there now. Look,
he's going to stop him taking the kick from him.
That's right.
Baggio refused to take a kick against his old club a couple of seasons back, just not long after he left Fiorentina. But this time he's going to, in the dying seconds. They've never really forgiven him in Florence for moving from Fiorentina to Juventus. Himself to the Fiorentina fans anymore either. Beautifully tucked away by Baggio.
Yeah, it's lovely. I think Manini, knowing Baggio, he normally does that one where he looks in the left corner and tucks it. Sorry, looks in the right corner and tucks it into the left. Manini going to his right-hand side, and Baggio just tucking it away very confidently. That's a man in top form.
Goal number 15 in Serie A for Baggio. Inspired form.
Not a bad return either, Peter. When you think, as I think you said earlier, he's missed 6 games, 15 goals is not a bad return.
Yes, he's had matches out through injury. There's Effenberg. Not quite sure what he was thinking of there, but certainly a touch of frustration. For a while they made a match of it, Fiorentina, but now they've been overwhelmed in the latter stages. Almost 3 minutes now of time added on. This extremely wet afternoon in Turin, Juventus have proved the dominant side.
Yes, they've thoroughly deserved their victory. It's been a difficult game for them, but they've come through 3-0, and I think thoroughly deserved to win. Whether by a 3-0 score, I wouldn't like to say, but it's been a good performance.
And an outstanding week then for Juve after their earlier successes, and they've taken charge of this game